I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. We hope you have had a very safe and happy Memorial Day holiday weekend. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us on Championship Night for the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. Already in round number 12 of week 12 of season 2 here in 2023. Joined in the booth as always by Mr. Patrick Byrne, and I'll tell you what, Bizzle, this one is going to be a fun show. The crowns are always good, and we have a couple of really good championship battles to talk about.
Oh yeah, the crowns are always fantastic here at Darlington. There's some of the cars that can actually get off of the wall and start to use some of the lesser banked parts of the track, and you can see some wild slide jobs here tonight.
They actually ran these cars here in the real world. J.J. Yaley owns the Silver Crown track record here at Darlington Raceway. A place that is notorious for chewing up tires, some of the grittiest pavement you will ever see. Got to walk the track actually many years ago. But it was crazy how abrasive this place is. And that's something these drivers are going to have to watch tonight because tire wear will be an issue.
Yeah, this track is abrasive. It's like they paved this track and then for the last 40-something years have just gone over it with more and more sandpaper. It chews up tires, it eats the rubbers right off of them, and when you get off the line, it gets really polluted with marbles, so it's really easy to get out of shape and slide right up into the wall.
Yeah, we have got a great championship battle to tell you about here tonight. Let's first pick up, let's see, Brandon Buckberger is out on the racetrack right now, and we'll show you the timing and scoring as these drivers start bringing in their laps in qualifications. Couple of drivers have a mathematical chance to win the championship here tonight, both in the broadcast championship standings and in the official championship standings as well. And the first one that I'm seeing a big development here early on, Patrick, Thomas Lewandowski, I am not seeing his name on the entry list here tonight. What that means, as Brian Elmore goes fastest lap top of the charts, is James Watson has a shot to claim both the official championship and the broadcast championship standings as Brandon Buckberger goes P1 26.761.
Yeah, although I just want to say, I think Derek Love is still going to be the big winner here. He's sitting in a booth at the Charlotte Motor Speedway right now watching the Xfinity race get underway, and we're here watching Silver Crowns on a TV screen.
That is correct. D-Love is out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He was enjoying all the festivities of the Coke 600. Let's take a look. Make sure I got the right one here. There we go. We'll bring up the side-by-side for you here as Jeffrey Stanton is going to be down in the bottom right. Ben Carswell working his qualification run that he has actually just come to a conclusion as Jeffrey Stanton goes P2, 26.764. Going to be only 3/1000ths of a second back. Let's pick up James Watson, the only guy in the show that can claim a championship on the racetrack tonight. You want to talk about pressure and stress as Josh Batista goes P1, 26.656 seconds. These guys have been talking about how fast this Team Watson Racing setup is. We'll see what Watson's going to be able to do very quickly down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 on his second and final qualification lap. Over the start-finish line, and Watson will go 6th quick, 26.784. Ed DeLeiter just rolling off onto the racetrack now in car number 17. Mike Lemon and Derek Watson have not yet taken time, and we're down to about 90 seconds left to go. Gonna have to put a hustle on it if these guys want to get out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, it don't take very long to get out here, but you still have to run the out lap, you have to run the first lap, and then your second lap is your heater lap in these cars. You really have to be on the racetrack now if you want to get a time in.
Cody Brooks, mathematical chance? Tell us how you really feel. Well, you can send all the hate mail to Bizzle at nationalracingnetwork.com. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the numbers here, and in fact, we have the live standings up here. James Watson is currently, let me see, got to do the math, 23 points back in the broadcast championship standings of Derek Love. He's very likely to do that. The bigger question comes in the officials. Derek Love is going to drop a 150-point race because he's not here tonight. James Watson, on the other hand, he's got some work to do. Now, it is a pretty decent strength of field. But he has to make up about 50 points or so. Not out of the question, but he's going to have to be right at the pointy end of the field.
Yeah, he's going to have to win this one and hope the drop weeks fall how they want to.
Well, let's take a look here, and we'll get ready for... Excuse me. Losing my voice over here. Get ready for championship night here in the Silver Crowns. And let's show you tonight's official starting grid. Well, at least as soon as the graphics are willing to pop up here. There we go. Josh Batista will be on the pole with a lap time of 26.656 seconds. Just a 10th back. The Driven to Save Lives National Racing Network #1 of Brandon Buckberger. STP and Band Sports on the side of Batista's #4. Row number 2 will have the Big Evil Designs, Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, #94 of Jeffrey Stanton. He will show up as the 2 in your timing and scoring screens. The Me Fine #8 of Zach Evans on the outside of row number 2. Row 3 will have the Team Watson Racing setups. Number 11 of Zach Scott Nicky. His car will be the 44 in timing and scoring. And the 39, Team Watson Racing Setups National Racing Network, number 39 of James Watson. He will be the 3 in your timing and scoring screens here this evening. Brian Elmore lining up alongside the Team Watson Racing Setups number 6 of Ben Carswell on row number 4. Row 5 will see DL Lemon in the Bitcoin number 10 alongside the number 9 of Brent Elmore. Tristan Fortson in the number 20 inside of row 6. To the outside will be Laura Gerhardt. Row 7 will have Jacob Dunn lining up alongside of Matthew Johnson. Douglas Rice in the 12, not that Doug Rice, he's still working at Charlotte Motor Speedway alongside the Geico number 19 of Scott Holder. Row 9 will have the Green Bay Packers number 21 of Matt Galida alongside the Refined Motorsports number 97 of Kenneth Bradstock. Mike Lemon, Edward DeLeiter on the 10th row here tonight, and Derek Watson going to be all alone there at the back of the field. Getting ready to come down. Green flags in the air. We are underway here at the Lady in Black. Josh Batista going to grab the early lead. Zach Evans holds on to third. James Watson, man, he had a little bit of a wiggle there in the middle of 3 and 4. Sometimes, Patrick, in a 65-lap race like this, you almost have to build the setup to come in for later in the run. If you're good early, you might be too good too early.
Yeah, you can see that huge fuel tank hanging off behind the rear axle. So every inch of the fuel tank that's past the rear axle, the effect of the weight is 8 times 2, or the math works out weird, but it's incredibly effective. So as you burn fuel out of that tank, the rear end's going to get much, much, much lighter, and the car is going to be a handful to drive.
Oh, one car up the wall, looks like Zach Evans. Big time contact with the outside safer barrier in 1 and 2. He is going to head towards the back of the field. Everybody towards the front, single file will stay here with this pack towards the back. It's going to be Evans, Rice, Leiter, Brad Stock, Lemon, Galida. Yeah, pretty big contact, though, for Zach Evans. He had a good qualifying run, and unfortunately, not where he's going to be running. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. Your top 2 are absolutely blowing this field away. Already 0.6 of a second between Josh Batista and Buckburger, and then back to third place, James Watson. Watson making up a little bit of ground, though. He's hovering right around that 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, and that might be the key. Just sit back there, let these guys burn their stuff up, and once their cars are cooked, just run right by them.
Yeah, even a little bit of save works out to a lot the longer this race goes, as Jeffrey Stanton puts up a new fastest lap of the race of 26.691.
Especially since there's no strategy. You should put enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag. You don't have any tires in the box to swap on the car, so what you roll off and take the green flag with is what you're going to take the checkered flag with.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Taking a look here for some of the other close battles that we have on the racetrack, everybody's sort of separating themselves out at least a little bit. Bring you up to side-by-side. Galida having some issues there. Oh man, he almost bounced that thing off the outside wall exiting turn number 2. Everybody knows the story of Darlington here, Bizzle, and it's egg-shaped for a reason. You got the minnow pond out back of, I guess it's now turn 4. But, and this is the big but to this whole thing, that egg-shaped is part of what makes this place so difficult, because the banking is different at each end. There's a variety of things, quite frankly, that are going on here. The physical makeup of the pavement has a role to play in that. The shape of the racetrack, the different banking. This is really a tough place to get good at, let alone try to master.
Yeah, I believe it's the entry of both corners are the same, because the track was originally going to be symmetrical, but it's the exit on turn 4. Either turn 2 or turn 4 that's crunched in a little bit makes the exit of the corner incredibly difficult to make.
Yes, it's the turn 4 end of the racetrack. That is the narrower of the two ends. It almost kind of squares off mid-corner a little bit, and really a difficult place to run. But it also makes for really, really fast lap times for these Silver Crown cars. They're still averaging a 26.8, and the best lap is a 26.8 for Josh Batista. Last lap, 26.867. His best lap is a 26.804. 11 laps in, they haven't given up a ton of time yet. That's where we go in this race, though.
Yeah, now, one thing that's curious to me is that dotted white line, the Indy cars, the old school USAC Indy cars are supposed to run below that line, and above it was the stock cars. Now, these things are pretty much the modern equivalent of an old school USAC Indy car, so why don't we require all these guys to run below that white line?
Well, here was the problem. The Indy cars ran Darlington, I want to say once. And the rule was going to be you had to run the lower side of the banking. Well, race car drivers being race car drivers, they said, screw it, we're just going up high. And that's what you ended up with, was a group of cars that were up on the higher side of the banking, and there really was nothing else to stop these guys. What, you're going to put the motors out and have them run them over? That's not going to kill somebody.
No, we'll just launch one of those over the grandstands in someone's car, too. That's much better than a tire.
Seems like everybody is really slowing down. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's the leaders coming backwards or Watson getting quicker. I'm leaning more towards the second of those two, as the gap is now down to only about a third of a second between James Watson and the race leader.
The leaders did just have some lap traffic to contend with, though. This is the hard part, too, for James Watson. It's easy to catch someone, but you can't drive through them. You have to find a way around, and this track is not very wide here in the corners. Well, it is, but the usable part of it really isn't.
Yeah, and even looking at the way the point standings sit right now on the broadcast side of things, Watson absolutely has this thing in hand. Looking like a possible 64 points is what he's looking at. He needs half of that, so he can have a mediocre night and win the broadcast championship. As Buckberger goes for the lead on Batista. Big dive. We'll see if Watson's going to be able to follow through. Big head of steam through the corner. Oh, and Batista's bouncing it off the wall.
Oh, man. Yeah, Watson needing to finish in the 20th position to tie the broadcast championship. Now, there's only 21 cars in this field, and Laura Gerhardt's 8 laps down. So unless Watson wins this thing right this second, I don't think he's going to lose this championship. He's got it in the bag.
Yeah, he needs to basically not be a knucklehead, and he'll pick up a broadcast championship. The bigger question is the officials. Obviously, not knowing what Thomas Lewandowski's drop week. Well, I guess Lewandowski has 8 weeks counted, so his number's not going to change. Watson needs
Not
to...
only that,
Go ahead.
but you have to remember for the official championship, there's usually another race on Wednesday nights that goes live as well that Derek Love and Lewandowski can jump into if they need to get some extra points. So that one isn't over until next Monday.
Correct. There are the possibility of shenanigans when the points battles are this tight, because it's not like you're doing like a defixed or something like that where you're going to have just hundreds of splits every week. You're really talking about 1, maybe 2 SOF races. This is the biggest of them. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night's race, you're going to get a pretty decent crowd for it, but you may not get the same SOF that you're going to get here.
Yeah, it could be higher, it could be a bigger points paying night, but chances are it's not going to be. So unless you really bid this one tonight, there's no reason for you to go and run that one. Now, Watson looking for the lead now.
Yeah, Watson having to move. Oh man, Buckberger way slower. Zach Scott-Nicky is right there. He's going to try to give the shove to Watson down the backstretch.
Watson's just yelling, please no Punterino.
Yeah, really. Oh man, Buckberger may have kissed the fence. You can see it when these cars touch the outside safer barrier. Oh, and Buckberger's around.
They do that.
Buckberger upside down, tumbling through the corner.
He's right side up again. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 for sticking the landing.
He's on all fours. Josh Batista was involved in that as well. We are under caution for the first time here at Darlington. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. See what happened here in turn 1. Maybe a little bit of contact with Scott-Nicky, and that was all it took for Brandon Buckberger to go for a wild ride. Josh Batista already had issues. His night may be done as well.
I know in NASCAR they like to have the cars dog tracking like that a little bit, but don't they like the right side out further than the left?
That is correct.
And those cars have fenders. I don't think it's going to work out well for him tonight.
I would imagine going to be a pretty extended repair bill here for Brandon Buckberger. That Driven to Save Lives at number 1 is not a real healthy race car at the moment. But let's keep an eye out here. Are we going to see some shenanigans?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
Maybe?
we are.
Oh.
Well, no contact thus far.
I'd imagine some choice words are being spoken over the comms right now.
Yes, I would imagine the intercom is going a little. Both the in-sim and the Discord chat are going a little bit ballistic here, but looks like Brandon Buckberger now going to make his way onto pit lane. So we'll pick things up at the front of the field and coming around to lap number 25, possibly even the 1 to go signal. Looks like we're going to go at least one more lap here. And Patrick, we can see it here. James Watson, Zach Scott, Nicky, they're down on the cool side of the asphalt, trying to keep the heat out of these tires. That's big here at Darlington. Heat cycles are not nearly as much of a thing as keep those tires from being super hot and greasy.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a cool part of this racetrack here in Darlington, South Carolina. Maybe if you can go find some grass somewhere, but there ain't much of that either. This place is just one big, I guess, a frying pan, really.
Yeah, especially, let's see. Trying to take a look here and see what our weather conditions are for this one.
Hot, I can tell you hot.
Yeah, I was going to say hot. That's going to be your operative word. So now we're at the 1/3, right about the 1/3 point of this race. James Watson he's doing what he needs to do to try to claim a championship. How much of a headspace do you have to crawl into and kind of hide from? Because Darlington requires such concentration to nail it lap after lap. Don't screw it up anywhere. It's almost hard. You almost have to put the championship out of your head and just think about hitting your marks.
The way I approach Darlington is kind of close my eyes and just let whatever God you pray to take the wheel, because this track is just so tough. I kind of just put myself on autopilot and dial back in when the caution comes out. Otherwise, you're thinking too much. You start tapping the wall just a little bit. You give it one little kiss and you're like, oh, that was a little too close. And then you get in your head and the next hit is much harder.
It looks like Brandon Buckberger, Josh Batista are both going to be out of this race.
So that guarantees Watson winning broadcast championship, so we can give him our early congratulations, unless something really catastrophic.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Buckberger and Batista, as much as they have repair time, they still can get out on the racetrack. They're only 2 and 4 laps down to the race leaders right now as the green flag goes back in the air. Watson opens up a pretty decent gap over Scott Nicky. Jeffrey Stanton holds on to 3rd. 4th place going to be Ben Carswell. Excuse me, 4th. But Elmore there in the 5. Now, I'm not saying these guys are going to do something crazy here at the front, but Zach Skotnicki is going to kind of do what he has to do to, I would think, at least help the shared spots on the side of the car. You're not going to necessarily do anything dumb, but you can make like a living hell for people to try to pass you.
Yes, Skotnicki is essentially Watson's blocker. I mean, Watson's name is on the side of Skotnicki's car. But at the same time, Team Watson Racing does have a very boys have at it attitude. If Skotnicki gets a huge run on Watson, he's going to go for it.
Speaking of going for it, it's going to be the 9 and the 14. Brent Elmore, the 9, Matthew Johnson, and the 14. Jacob Dunn, the 13 there as well in the middle of this party. And how about Zach Evans? He banged that car off the wall really hard. He runs now in the 9th position. Bring up the side-by-side. We'll have the race leaders in the small box. Down in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. This good battle by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All in line. Oh, one car, 2 cars upside down. Well, almost.
It's a close one.
Spins like a top, but we stay green. Now the caution finally comes out. Caution flag number 2. We will hit the halfway point under the yellow flag.
Yeah, it's essentially like stage racing now.
Yes. Taking a look, Laura Gerhardt has passed Josh Batista for the 18th position. Now she's also just come around Brandon Buckberger. Both of those cars still on pit lane. Matt Galida can also pass Batista and Buckberger. Doesn't look like we're going to have anybody on pit lane. Let's take a look here and pick up the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. See what happened to the 9 of Brent Elmore. Wow.
Just
Nowhere to go with big time air down the front straightaway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Elmore speaking, and on your right you will see the catch fence, and now on your left you'll see it, and on your right you'll see it once more, and we're back on all 4 wheels.
Yes. Cross flags up. We are halfway home here at the Darlington Raceway. James Watson, your race leader, as we work the second caution flag of the night. Zach Skotnicki runs second, third Jeffrey Stanton, fourth Brian Elmore, and fifth Ben Carswell. So as it stands now, it is a 47-point lead for James Watson over Derek Love in the broadcast championship. Jeffrey Stanton 62 points back. And it looks like it's a 15-point separation between Jeffrey Stanton and Derek Love for second in that broadcast championship. And Watson can pick up another 3 for if he manages to lead the most laps. If he stays out front till the end of this one, he will pick those bonus points up as well. Right now, only 14 cars on the lead lap. One of those, Scott Holder, actually spending over a minute on pit lane.
It's just a little bit of time.
Yeah, a little bit. 28.3 seconds in the box, 1 minute 5 in total on pit lane. Brent Elmore up over 3 minutes on pit lane. Mac Galida over almost now 13 minutes on pit lane. Our charger of this race right now, Matthew Johnson, up 8 positions to run in 6th. Kenneth Bradstock also up 8, as is Ed DeLeiter. Derek Watson up 7 as well. The 2 guys that are going to be the biggest droppers in this one, obviously Brandon Buckberger and Josh Batista, down 16 and 18 positions respectively. Green flag goes back in the air at lap number 36. Inside of halfway home. Here at Darlington, we may have trouble here. Let's take a look. Just everybody kind of packing up there at the green flag. One car riding the wall a little bit deeper in the pack. Right now, Watson.
I believe Rob Chastain thinks the wall is the fastest way around here.
God,
Harry Gant might as well.
The early days of NASCAR in 2003, you go back, the original NASCAR race in 1994, you could patch the hell out of the wall.
Did you used to run up your parents' internet bill on the Hawaii server?
No, I did not. I was brighter than that. I will say that. And by the way, it wouldn't have been an internet bill. It was a long-distance telephone bill.
Right, that is correct. Which is why that server is so infamous for being expensive.
Something's pretty quiet here at the front of the field. Zach Evans making a pass on Matthew Johnson. Put him up to the 6th position. A little bit of right front damage. No harm, no foul here for Zach Evans. Right in front of that side. That race car all crumpled up. But Darlington is not the crazy huge aero track. It's big and it's fast, but it's really more about mechanical grip. If you got one of those Team Watson Racing setups tonight, it looks like you're in good shape. It's, what, 4 of those cars inside the top 6?
Yeah, I mean, Team Watson race setups really showing off that, hey, we've kind of got these crowns dialed in. I guess they do pay us to advertise for them, so yeah. Go check out Team Watson Racing setups.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's one of those things that there are ways that you can kind of fudge the setup, especially on the more popular cars. You know, minimum tire pressures all the way around and max suspension settings and some of that kind of stuff. You can play some goofiness there and quite frankly be fast just out the box. The Silver Crowns and some of the more niche stuff that Team Watson Racing Setup specializes in, they are rocket ships. It's not they're not the kind of cars that you can just do the generic setup stuff.
No, you really have to spend some time tweaking these things. I want to say it's almost like the PM18, but Carter Lundy has won damn near everything with Andrew Berry's setup like a year and a half ago. So Maybe not so much the PM18, but yeah, these things, the Tour Modified too, just about all of the dirt stuff is kind of like that now. They've got dirt dialed in pretty good.
Well, down to 23 laps to go in the season finale. Now, Cup Cars, James Watson is your race leader. You can see the top 5 all right there, nose to tail. Watson's got Nicky Stanton, Elmore, and Carswell. That's Brian of the Elmores. Grant back in the 16th position. Jeffrey Stanton gotta have the look on Scott Nicky. And this is something we've seen Jeffrey Stanton do in the past. He is very, oh, and Stanton's in the wall! Big
and
hit
he's
for Jeffrey
upside
Stanton, tumbling down the front straightaway. Oh, I was just about to say. Stanton.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Stanton speaking. I'm kind of dizzy after that one.
Yeah, take a look here. He made the big dive into the corner. The car just got the big push, scrapes the wall, and once you start wall riding one of these things, my goodness. Big Evil Designs, Napa Auto Parts of Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94, and Jeffrey Stanton. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a big evil hit.
Yeah. That was not pleasant. That removes the final contender for the broadcast championship. Actually, I don't even know that Stanton could actually get there.
He could not.
Yeah, he could get within, I believe, 3 was the number.
If he got the pole and led the most laps, he can get to 3, but we're too late in the race for him to lead the most laps. And he didn't get the pole, so at best he could get within 6 points.
Yep, so looks like Jeffrey Stanton will finish 3rd overall in the broadcast championship. And with the number of cars that are out of this race now, as you said, we can confirm James Watson will be your broadcast series champion. That question
Does he win another milk jug?
No, he does not. If you want to contribute towards the prize pool for next season, you can email Bizzle at nationalracingnetwork.com.
Yeah, it's not only for hate mail. It's just
correct.
what I get an overwhelming amount from. Mostly from James Watson, actually, so I don't think we should send them anything.
But the numbers that we were looking at, 1397 was the number for Derek Love. James Watson needed a 46-point gain. And as you mentioned, there could still be an SOF race later on this week. And if that one goes official, especially in a big way, this could be, it is not like there's a guarantee here that Watson can win this race. It's almost like you have to sit there. And then the question becomes, do you run that race? I would think you do if he's not in another league or another event somewhere.
Yeah, you would almost have to run it, because the first 2 races you run, it just takes the better finish of the week out of those 2. It's only when you start running 3-4 races that it starts dividing it weird and the math gets a little crazy.
Correct. More than 4 is the number. Once you're over 4, it then averages your numbers out.
But yeah, there's no, if he wins this race tonight, there is no risk for him to run that Wednesday race as well. If anything, he's just running the Wednesday race to get into Derek Love's head.
So it'll be 17 laps to go, 16 when they get the green flag as the lights are out on the iRacing safety car. Still 14 cars on the lead lap. Brent Elmore going to be the first car one lap down, and actually he's going to be 5 back of the race leaders in the 15th position. A couple of laps from now, Laurie Gerhardt will also pass Jeffrey Stanton. Magdalena, if he runs to the end of this thing, he could potentially pass Brandon Buckberger. Would be 13 lap difference. Actually, he would also possibly be able to pass Laura Gerhardt as well, but Laura's still out on the racetrack.
Yeah, not a great night for a lot of our regulars, but it's going to be a fantastic one for Watson, pretty much no matter where he finishes in this one at this point.
Yeah, green flag goes back in the air. Big dive for Ben Carswell down to the inside. He's actually going to lose a little bit of ground. Looked like the start caught Carswell off guard. Absolutely fantastic start for James Watson. He is out to a 0.3 of a second lead over Zach Scott-Nicky. But the draft does come into play here, James. These cars are
James is leading the race.
Yes, that is correct. These cars punched such a massive hole in the air. There's almost no way to avoid Zach Scott-Nicky getting a great draft run. Long straightaways, and especially the turn 1 and 2 end, you can carry a lot of speed through those corners as well.
Yeah, these aren't like the cars of old where there's not really much car to punch a hole in the air and draft with. These things, you can see that big fender cover they have in the front. It's probably the best thing to call it. Keeps the air off the tires, which is your biggest part of drag on an open wheel car. And that alone punches a massive hole in the air that allows you to suck right up to the car in front of you.
Robin Miller nicknamed the rear bumper covers, rear wheel cover cars, whatever they were, on the DW12 the Kardashians. Are these front Kardashians?
I'm not sure we're allowed to say that on the air.
Big bolt-ons is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I still don't think we could say that on the air.
Well, I think we got away with it.
Yeah, that's what we'll call them. Big bolt-on front Kardashians. See, it's not a hate mail thing. You can't just put that up every time I say something.
No, at this point, if I say something, it's going to go up there too. Zach Scott-Nicky in the 11 having an absolutely fantastic race. The other one, let's give a shout out here. The number 20 of Treston Fortson. You carry the number 20, you're one of the lower I-rated drivers in the race. Now, that's not saying anybody's a slouch, but his I-rating's a 14-13. And doing a very nice job keeping that machine inside the top 10. And quite frankly, just a nice ride out here, making up some ground on Matthew Johnson.
What's that's telling me, with his I-rating and how high up he's running against a lot of these guys we've seen run before, is that he's just new to iRacing. I'm not sure how long he's been on the service. I can't look at that right this moment. But, frankly, he's doing pretty good for himself. And if he keeps running like this, he won't be at a 14-13 very long.
No, he's having a very good I-rating, quite frankly. James Watson carrying that nearly 5,000 to I-rating at the front of the field at a 48.59. Buckberger and Stanton carrying the 1 and 2, 55.67 and 52.08. There's a lot of strength here in the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. Oh, Watson, little twitchy. Off at turn number 4. Scott-Nicky had to back out. Now he's going to look inside into 1. He backs out. We're down to 8 to go.
that brings up a great point, though. If Watson runs that Wednesday race with how high his iRating is, he's going to bring the strength of field of that race way up. He might be better off not running it and letting the strength of field drop a little bit.
Yeah, you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. If it's a high iRating race and you do well in it, you could actually earn more from finishing second or third in a very high iRating race versus winning a lower iRating at strength of field. But if you bring it up too much and don't do well, you're actually hurting yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like he's got to ask all of Team Watson Racing to show up, bring it right to the split number with all of their lowest iRating drivers. Which means he's going to give me a phone call, you and me a phone call, and have us run the race.
We'll be busy on Wednesday night, though, the season premiere. We're right back here to Darlington for the summer season premiere of the Sim Racers Club. Darlington, that two fantastic tracks for these next-gen Cup cars. But we got work to do. The five-finger salute at the start-finish line. 5 to go for James Watson. He's going to likely claim we can say he'll claim a broadcast championship. Scott Nicky again looks inside. He pulls back up out of the way, and lap traffic is just ahead. How about the run for Brian Elmore here, too? Save the stuff. Don't use it up. He's having a great run here up to third. Ben Carswell trying to get caught up. When and where do they catch the lap traffic? That's going to be the big question. Watson hopes they catch him and pass him down the straightaway. But it's not going to happen this time. By 3 to go.
That's the other big thing. Does lap traffic stay in the way, or do they get out of the way? They stay right in the way.
Oh, man. Dives down to the inside. Scott Nicky not able to take advantage. Neither is Elmore or Carswell.
If anything, that made the gap bigger to third position. Zach's going to still be looking towards that inside. He's running right up against that dotted white line.
Well, and I would imagine some of that is trying to find some air to get some clean air on the front of these things. Because, again, they're not crazy aero dependent, but it does help to get a little bit of air on the front of these things and get them to grip up a little bit.
Yeah, there's no rear downforce at all in these cars, but there is a hair, maybe 100 pounds or so of front downforce from that big Kardashian bolt-on in the front there. So you can get a little bit of an advantage by getting it out in the clean air. Frankly, I think that's why the Kardashians left New Jersey.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Watson cleanly off of turn number 2. He's got 2 more corners to make, and he will be an iRacing Broadcast Series champion of the Silver Crowns. Twin checkers in the air. James Watson gets the win at Darlington. Zach Scott Nicky holds on for second. Brian Elmore third. Ben Carswell and Zach Evans will round out your top 5. Right as the comment comes in, we're calling the white flag lap. D-Love saying, at the Xfinity race, and I've got this pulled up on my phone. Are you saying this is more exciting than the Xfinity Series race? Allegedly.
Yes, they are red flags once again.
Oh.
No, I have no idea.
I'm
not watching it. Watching Silver Crowns, man.
Would not be a surprise that with all the red flag, ridiculousness we've had this weekend.
They should have just run 10 laps of Cup, 10 laps of Xfinity. Frankly, throw both classes on the track at the same time and slap an IMSA sticker over it. Watson parks it right on the dime, right on the line. Oh, that was impressive.
Yeah, really. That's how you get it done right there. There's James Watson, your 2023 Season 2 broadcast champion. Zach Scott Nicky pulled right up alongside. Let's take a look here and show you your race results. After 65 laps, Watson by 1/10.5 over Scott Nicky. Brian Elmore, Ben Carswell, Zach Evans, your top 5. What a recovery drive for Zach Evans to get that car back up into the 5th position. And then 5 guys that have had fantastic drives here tonight. Matthew Johnson, Treston Forston, Douglas Rice, Kenneth Bradstock, and Jacob Dunn. All mid-I-rating drivers in this field at a very difficult racetrack, putting those cars inside of the top 10. Derek Watson comes home 11th, 12th to Scott Holder, Edward DeLeiter in 13th, DL Lemon 14th, and then we get to some of the drivers that had minor or massive issues. Brent Elmore, 5 laps down in the 15th position, Laura Gerhardt 16th, 17th to Jeffrey Stanton, Brandon Buckberger 18th, Josh Batista 19th, 20th tonight to Matt Galida, and Mike Lemon rounds out the field in the 21st position. They're trying to do the tug of war, but neither one of them can get the car to spin up.
No, they're just like sliding. They're moonwalking across the track. It's a Michael Jackson tribute.
Yes. Let's take a look here and see who we can't find to talk to for our post-race interviews. Hopefully, I don't know if we're able to get access to Brian Elmore here, but first, well, let's see. First, we got to queue up the get all of our instant replays set up here for our Victory Lane interviews. And let's bring him up into the booth with us. Your 2023 Season 2 broadcast champion, Mr. James Watson, and possibly an overall iRacing championship in the Silver Crowns. Congratulations. First, let's talk about the race. You got a little bit of help from Josh and Brandon and the issues that they had, but man alive, what a fantastic drive for that 39 machine tonight.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was out of breath the entire race. Man, that I wanted that one so bad. Like I've had some of my best runs ever in the series here at Darlington. My first ever SOF pole came at Darlington, so I've always been good here. I've always loved this track. I've just never been able to get the job done, and so to get my third ever SOF win, my first at an oval that you could actually pass in. I'm stoked. This is huge. Oh man, this is awesome.
Well, let's talk through the season a little bit here. In 14 starts, 4 wins, and this is overall, not the broadcast championship, but the overall official standings. 14 starts, 4 wins, 12 top 5s. All in all, I mean, just an absolutely fantastic season. And with the way the system is built for drop weeks. So it's not like D-Love or Thomas Lewandowski not being here tonight makes it like less of a thing to claim a championship because you get to use the drop weeks. You could potentially be an overall champion here as well.
Unless my calculations are severely off, which I hope that they are, I only gained 6 of the 46 I needed to win. So I still end up third. What stings is that my 2 SOF wins are actually 2 of my lowest point totals, which is really disappointing, especially with, I still had to outrun and beat a lot of the top guys in the series. But yeah, this was incredible. My best ever season by far. A season I never thought that I'd ever be able to put together to be like a actual legitimate threat for the championship is something I thought was unattainable, and to win a couple of SOF wins, it's huge. I'm so grateful for this season.
Well, and
But
I would
little
say,
disappointed, of course.
well, a lot of momentum heading into season 3 here as well. It is a long run through the summer months, but you got to be feeling really, really good about where the team is positioned, the Team Watson Racing setup side, and everything you guys are doing there, and all the work that's going into developing this Silver Crown program. You guys got to feel strong. Zach put up a great run tonight. Ben there with the TWRS on the side of the car as well. 3 of the top 4 tonight carrying the colors.
Yeah, this was one of our best races ever. I'm so proud of everyone for their support and their help. I've always been a little self-conscious of my setup making ability. I don't think I'm as good yet. I still have a ways to go and a ways to learn. But I'm happy that I'm at least able to help out my teammate and help them get good results. I still feel like I need a lot of breaks to pull off a championship. You know, Derek is just flat out a lot better driver than me, and probably a better builder. So I've still got a ways to really truly be on his level, but yeah, to be this close compared to where I used to be, to like 2 years ago, where a top 5 would be a season best result. And now I'm out here winning races. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, I tell you what, brother, congratulations on a fantastic season. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yes, sir. I gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank you and everyone else at Martin Sport or at National Racing Network. Sorry, I'm still recovering from the weekend. Martin Sport Sim Racing Apparel. ZAS Designs for putting together my paint schemes, and simsearch.com, your ultimate sim racing marketplace.
There you go. Thank you much, brother. We appreciate you coming to check in with us. And now let's bring in our runner-up finisher tonight here, Mr. Zach Scott Nicky. And I tell you what, great run tonight. It looks like you were ready to give the boss man hell, and then there was maybe a moment of, oh, let's back out and not totally wad these things up. Because it's really easy to attempt the pass and screw it up in the process.
Yeah, I know that firsthand. Is I feel really bad for Brandon Buckberger earlier in the race when we were side by side going into one, and I just got tight and ended up pushing him into the wall. So I learned that early. So I didn't want to wreck both of us and end up with none of us finishing up there. So finishing second to him is better than finishing last.
Yeah, and sometimes discretion, the better part of valor. How many times a lap do you go through that where it's, a place like Darlington that it just wants to eat race cars everywhere you look?
Oh, God. Like, there was corners where I'm like, oh, I can get by him now. Oh, I can get by him now. Oh, I shouldn't do this. But, like, in the end, I feel happy with where we both finished. I'm glad he won. I myself clinched myself just by showing up the Division III championship for the Silver Crowns tonight. So that's pretty cool for my first ever iRacing division championship. So, yeah, it's a lot to go around here, especially with how big it is, how different each corner is, and just how wide open you have to be around this whole track.
Well, yeah, and with the points updating here, a Division III championship, by far the highest B-class licensed driver in the field, but also an overall top 10. Congratulations on that, Zach. Fantastic season. I would imagine you're pretty jacked up looking ahead to season 3 coming up here.
Yeah, starting the season, I didn't even think I was going to run this all 12 weeks of it, and to finish top 10 overall, as you said, I can't believe it, especially beating out some of these top guys out here and running in bottom split most of these races and not being able to get that full point total. Just amazing.
Well, congratulations on it. And before we let you go, make sure you do all your big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, I want to thank Team Watson Racing and James Watson, obviously, for the amazing setups he puts behind this car each and every race. Race Day CT on Villa Maria College for putting me through college.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we got really a fun show tonight here out of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. As always, these guys put on a fantastic show for us, and the lady in black did not disappoint.
No, I can't wait to come back here on Wednesday and go watch the Sim Racers Club guys run around this track, because those guys are going to put one hell of a show on as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these guys here. Kevin Dick, Johnny Avila will again be battling for a championship. Kevin Dick picked up the Spring Series championship, but not by a ton, and there are still 2 full 12-week seasons to go, and then you're going to total everybody up and crown an overall season champion. So a lot coming up there in the Sim Racers Club on Wednesday night. Thursday night will be championship night once again, this time for the U.S. Open Wheel Championships, heading off to Alton Park Circuit, a place that is just spectacular for those cars. Little bit technical of a road course, but so many places to draft and really keep the pack together. We're looking forward to that one as well. But with that, time for Bizzle and I to get the hell on out of here. I don't think we offended too many people, unless you're a Kardashian. And we're looking forward to seeing you all on Wednesday night. TNT Shock Series off for the summer. We'll see them again coming up here in a few weeks. And on Saturday, if you are interested in participating, the Vintage 500, the IRO1, IRO5, Lotus 79, Lotus 49, and the Sprint car, you'll be able to find the Vintage 500 in the iRacing Open. Hosted fixed setups. We're going to be doing development on them all week as well. Keep your eye out for those on the hosted side of things as well. But we're getting out of here now. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.